Welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV, the live TV show all about the legal aspects of your business. We've designed this TV show to educate you in simple to understand plain English ways for complex legal terms, to help you understand why you undertake certain legal aspects of your business, and to help you develop a plan for the future success of your business. Did you know that any business owner is on average 7 months away from losing everything? And that is the average time that it takes for a successful business to fold when an aspect of their business is not set up correctly. Have you ever wanted to get legal advice but didn't understand what was going on? And do you feel like there's a divide between lawyers and their clients? If that's so, then this TV show is for you. We've designed the show to empower you and your business with the knowledge and tools to help ensure that those problems that so many businesses encounter don't happen to you. Business Legal Lifecycle TV delivers a twice-weekly show focusing on the legal aspects of your business. At lunchtime on Mondays, we present Fast Fix Monday, a quick 5 to 10 minute show to give you some actionable steps to consider for this week in your business. And at lunchtime on Wednesdays, we present our in-depth show. It's generally between 30 minutes to an hour to go through the complicated legal aspects of your business in a simple to understand and plain English way. That can be through educational pieces or interviews with experts in the fields. We welcome you to Business Legal Lifecycle TV, and here's our show.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV's Wednesday episode. Today is our last video for October Inception. And Craig, today we've got an interview with Rob and Faye Caughey from Kaibizzen, and we're going to talk about a few different things. So what do you think the most important things that people are going to get out of today's interview?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, definitely the interview with Faye and Rob Caughey from Kaibizzen. They're business coaches based here in Brisbane, but work with clients all around the place. But the importance of clarity and looking at clarity and clarifying your clarity, I guess is the best way of describing it, was an important thing to come out of the interview. And some tips from Faye about how to define your clarity, I think, were the two that I thought were the most important about clarity.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next one, Rob talks about mindset and goes through the importance of mindset. It's some stuff I hadn't actually thought about before, about how important it is to have the right mindset in business, and how often you see people who have poor mindsets and how that affects them in business. So that's the third main one. And the fourth one is around the importance of having a team. You know, as we've talked about in a lot of the shows during this month, having a team for your business is really important because you don't know what you don't know, and you need to find out, you know, all the different parts about running your business. So Rob and Faye, they're really great. They've got lots of experience in business. They've run their own businesses, and now they run Kaibizzen as a business coach in the local Murray area, and they go through a lot of that about having the team and also about their business.
Yeah, absolutely. They were very big on, you know, being part of a team as a business coach, and we've said it before, to have your initial team, and one of those should be a business coach or mentor. And the other thing with mindset was what Rob said about when to look at it, and it's you know, now if you're in the conception phase. Looking at mindset early on is what he described as one of the most important things to do in business. So now's the time to do it. If you're in that phase, is to think about your mindset and your clarity. And we'd encourage everyone to, you know, you can't do it by yourself, because it's hard to ask yourself the right and the tough questions, because as Rob will describe in the interview, there are some tough sort of questions you need to ask yourself. And you need someone like a business coach to ask you those questions. So yeah, really great interview. Lots of insights.
Yeah, and as you say, it's really important in phase one conception, but it's also important as you're going through business. You know, business is a journey, and understanding your clarity and mindset, you know, even when you're in phase 10 or phase 11, is really important. So if you aren't in phase one conception, but you're watching this anyway, thank you. But also don't put these things aside as something that you have to think about at the beginning of your business. you need to think about them as you're going through your business journey to make sure that you understand everything. So that's probably enough from us, Craig. I think we'll transition over to this week's interview.
All right, today we have Rob and Faye Caughey. They're the owners of Kaibizzen and the founders of Kaibizzen. They run a different type of business coaching business here in Brisbane, and it's inspired by the elite athlete training model. They use a team of business coaches with individual skills and expertise who complement each other in such a way their clients can benefit from a wide scope of all their abilities. We have them both on here today to discuss different aspects of business, particularly around mindset, clarity, and goals at the conception stage. And obviously we're going to ask them some questions to find out a bit more about them. We've known Faye and Rob for a number of years and have worked with some of their clients in the past. And so we thought it'd be great to have them on the show or the podcast and go through a couple of questions. So Faye and Rob, I'll fire away with the first question. Faye, if you want to answer, or Rob, you want to jump in. But if you just want to tell us a bit about your history and how you got into the coaching business.
Yeah. Thanks, Craig. Look, it was actually me who started the business. When I look back, I've been doing what we've been doing all my life. Rob quite often says to me that I'll never die wondering. And as an employee, I used to go to my employers and just ask them why they did things the way they do. So very early in my career, I identified them to see how we're doing things, seeing that there were different ways of doing it. So as well as having the ability to identify why they were doing it, I would then be charged with making the change and then teaching and coaching people how to do things the new way. So I guess I've been doing it, as I said, I've been doing what I've been doing all my life. Having worked my way up through business, one of my goals in every job that I had was to work my way out of the job that I had so that I would get a better job.
Yep.
And so the principles that I learnt, I've been able to apply to small and medium-sized businesses. On top of that, Rob and I have owned other businesses prior to starting this business. So working with small to medium-sized business owners was just a passion that we've always had.
And tell us a bit about those businesses. So what kind of other businesses were you in before you started Kaibizzen?
I'm a diesel fitter by trade, so we had a small diesel fitting business, and then with a friend of mine, we joined a partnership in a business that was a retail business selling anything to do with transfer of air and water. We were in that for quite some time, and then we'd worked in the corporate world, and then we started this business here about 15 years ago.
Excellent. So what does Kaibizzen mean, and how do you run things differently in the coaching business?
Well, the word Kaibizzen actually is derived from the the Japanese word Kaizen, which means continuous improvement in small steps. When I went to, and I've always loved that name because it relates exactly with what we do with our clients. It's about the continuous improvement in their lives and their business. However, when I went to register the business name, all the Kaizen names are already taken. And so Kaibizzen was at 2 o'clock in the morning, aha, I've got it, because biz is short for business and it fits in the middle of Kaizen. So that's how we came up with the Kaibizzen. The thing that makes us different to most business coaching or any other business coaching business that we know is we've modelled our coaching business on an elite sporting model, where in teams of sport they have a head coach, but then they have people who specialise in the different aspects of the game. And we learnt this from our period of time in being this, is that our clients loved different perspectives and fresh perspectives. And so because of both of our love for league, especially Rob used to play it, I didn't, we looked at their model and thought, well, if it worked for sport, it has to work for business. And so we've divided business into 6 areas, and we have got people in those 6 different areas who specialise in those 6 different areas. So our clients don't just get a coach, they actually get a team of people working with them to help them achieve their goals.
Okay. And so Rob, where did you get into the rugby league? How high up? Were you up to the ARL levels or?
No, I was a little bit too old for that. I played for Souths in Brisbane in the under-18 comp. But I played in Central Queensland. I used to make the rep teams in the Central Queensland Rugby League, and then Queensland Country, and to that level. Yeah. So I played A grade in the Toowoomba and in the Central Queensland areas.
All right, sounds good. And what about the 6 different areas? Do you want to give us just a brief around those so that people can understand, what they are and how you do it?
Sure. Look, one of the points that I'd like to make up front is we've purposely chosen names for those 6 areas that isn't the traditional business names, because otherwise if we just say things like marketing or whatever, people come with preconceived ideas of what they already mean. So we've chosen names that are a little bit different, and so people have to say, well, what do you mean by that? The first area is what we call clarity, and that's about business owners having clarity of direction, clarity of purpose, and clarity of strategy. The second area is growth, and that entails customer care and client retention. We believe that the best way to grow your business is to monetize your current clients first. So it's about, as I said, it's about client care and client retention and client growth that way, then marketing and sales. So it covers those 3 areas, getting leads and converting them. Then the third area is wealth, and this is about knowing your business numbers, both financial and non-financial. It's about improving your cash position, and it's about improving profitability. The fourth area is health, and that's about the efficiency and effectiveness of the operations of the business. The fifth area is team, and that's about people management and people leadership. And then the sixth area is peak performance, which is all about the business owner and what's holding them back from achieving what they want to achieve in their business.
Excellent. All right, well, the first one of those that you gave was clarity, and we'll get onto that in a moment. But just quickly wrapping up on sort of Kaibizzen as a general thing. Obviously, you've got a lot of experience working with businesses, running your own businesses, playing left centre for the South Logan Magpies, whatever it was. And
you played left right out.
Can you give some examples about how that experience has helped you in doing what you're doing now? And it might be specifically about what you've helped for a client or in particular.
Look, for sure, the experience of business is a great help, because through our business journey, there was hardship, real hardship, and so we've been next door to broke, to making a lot of money at different times and making some wrong decisions and suffering the consequences. So we really come from a place of living it and experience, not one from a textbook field. So most of our learnings are from being up and making the wrong decision, or taking advice from somebody that had never been in business, and things like that.
Yeah. Yes, it's like a lot of other business coaches follow a business coaching model, and while we have that, it is more about our practical experience and knowing what it feels like to be a small business owner ourselves, and just experiencing it and sharing that experience that we've had with others.
I think one of the biggest things is that you can empathise with people. We've been in a situation where we've had to go to our employees and say, well, look, I can't pay you this week. You're going to have to wait till next Friday, and things like that. And when you got 16 to 20 employees and you do that, it's a big learning, and you can empathise with people that suffer with cash flow and things like that.
But on the other side, we've also learned how to get ourselves out of that situation as well. And so therefore we might have been up the dry gully, but we've learnt what to do to get out of it, and then, you know, that's what we can help people through. You know, it's not just because we've experienced it, because we've also worked out what to do to get out of it.
Very good. Well, that's good. So as Craig said before, we wanted to get into a bit more around clarity. I think that's your area, Faye, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And the reason that we wanted to get you on in October 2017 is because our theme this month is conception in the business legal life cycle. And that's a lot of that is around clarity and making sure that you have clarity in your business. So, Faye, can you talk to us about, you know, gaining clarity and why that's important for a business owner to have that clarity before, and even probably more so as they're going through their business journey?
Most definitely. It's one of the reasons why businesses don't succeed, is because they don't have a clear direction. And I guess what I'd like to do is answer that question with a question. If you lived in Melbourne in the middle of winter, and one morning you just set up, I'm going to go for a holiday, or family B woke up and said, I want to get out of Melbourne's cold. I want to go to somewhere where it's nice and warm. I'm going to go to Cairns for 3 weeks and have a holiday in Cairns. Out of those two families, who do you think is most likely to get to Cairns? It's going to be family B, because they've got a reason to get out of Melbourne, because it's freezing cold in Melbourne. Apologies to anybody in Melbourne, but it's the truth. And the second reason is that they've got a destination in mind and they know exactly where they're going to go. Business is no different. If we don't have a destination in mind and where we want to get to and a reason to get there, we're actually not going to get there. So it's about really having clarity about where you're going and why you're going to get there. And then the third aspect is, as I said before, it's the how you're actually going to get there. And a good plan, a good clear plan, will encompass those three things.
Yep.
So, Robert, I don't know if you wanted to add anything there, but in terms of, you know, making the decision, you hate Melbourne and want to move out, what else is involved in the process that you go through with your clients to find that clarity?
Look, we take them through a pretty comprehensive sort of a process, and basically it's not only the clarity about where they want to have their business, but why they want to have their business, and that is to get a lifestyle. So if they don't know what lifestyle they want to live, we help them to find that, because that becomes their why they work their business to the degree that they work their business. So that if you don't have a why in your business, a why in your life, you don't work your business to the degree that you could work your business, and therefore then you probably never end up with being able to get out of your business. And we have people ringing us all the time. They're in their late 60s, 70s, and they can't sell their business, and all they've done all their life is work their business, and now they can't get out of it, and so therefore then they've got to continue to work it. But if they had known a lot of clarity beforehand, they could have organised their life, they could have organised their investments to get out of the business what they needed out of the business, so that they had something to live on.
Yeah. And do you have any, without giving names away, of course, but any specific examples of where that's really helped a business owner by gaining that clarity and where they've gone with that?
Yeah, the examples are not ending. The one that comes to my mind immediately is a dentist client of ours. When he first started working with us, his big reason for actually improving his business was because he wanted to buy a jet ski to spend time with his kids. And look, that's great. That's a really good reason. And I said, of a jet, I've lost my mojo, and I helped him to see that only about 2 weeks before we'd had a conversation about his vision that he had gained over the last 12 months of working with us, that his vision was so much more than just a jet ski. It was the difference that he wanted to make in his family's life, but also, you know, the people that he works with and things like that. And I said to him, I said, look, it's not that you've lost your mojo, it's that you've got such a far bigger vision than what you actually had when you started working with us 12 months ago. And that's the difference that happens in people's life when they start to get clarity.
That's great that he wanted a jet ski and and then develop that into...
He still hasn't bought the jet ski. He could buy the jet ski company now.
Well, that's good. I mean, that shows that having a goal. Like we talk about starting up with an end in mind. So starting up with some goal, and then that always changes, as we know. And that's a perfect example of someone whose goals changed.
It was only a couple of months after he was working with us that he went from a jet ski to a house, and he'd got his new house within 12 months and things like that. So the jet ski had fallen off. And I was talking to him the other day and he said, I'm still going to buy that jet ski, you know.
Well, hopefully he gets there one day.
Just quickly before we move on to mindset, I just wanted to ask about, as Jeremy said, specifically this month we're talking about conception. So obviously businesses before they necessarily start, they're thinking about going into business. We encourage everyone throughout the episodes of the Business Legal Lifecycle to consult their team, get an initial team. Obviously, someone like yourself is someone that we would encourage people to speak to early on and get that team involved and everyone talking to each other. Can you give sort of a distinction between getting clarity at the conception phase and how important that is, as opposed to sort of halfway through your business life cycle, getting the clarity then? Like, could you say, if you did it at the beginning, how better off you're going to be, and give an example or the importance of it there?
Yeah, look, it's a a law firm or whatever it is that they do, and the sad part about business is that because most people don't have a really clear reason where they want to be at the end. They just start a business, and so they start a business, and it ends up costing them so much because they haven't got that clarity. And look, if people are going into business, certainly our recommendation is it'll save you so much time, so much money, and so much of everything if right from the get-go you have that clarity about where you're going, why you want to get there, and how you're going to get there.
Yeah, we got a young client who he came to us probably 18 months after he started up his business, but he had taken on a person who specialised in startup businesses, and that person had set him up really well, and he was really he was at the stage of where he was ready for tremendous growth. Now he's been working with us for 12 months, and he's multiplied over 10 times, but he had all the basics in place right from the word go. Whereas most times we come across business, they've been in business for 5 years, and they come and see us, and they haven't got the basics in place. So therefore, then you've got to go back and you've got to get the basics in place before you can actually get that growth that this young bloke's got. So it makes such a difference. It makes it so easy to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, and to probably surpass them if you get somebody to give you a hand right from the word go.
Yeah, Faye, I think the example you gave of lawyers, being great lawyers, we'll put our hands up and say that was us. We were great lawyers, but we didn't know how to run a business, and we had to engage and serve as someone similar to you guys and actually learn how to run a business. And that's a whole different journey that you go on through business, isn't it?
Most definitely. Well, I mean, my 15 years in this business is, like I started as a one-man band. Yeah. And, mine has one-man band too, being the owner of a coaching business. And it's the skill set and everything else that you need is completely different to being a business coach or being a lawyer or whatever it is that you do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Craig, do you want to, I think that's good for clarity. Is there anything that you guys wanted to add at the end of that section before we move on to mindset about clarity?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's good.
All right, Rob, you're in the spotlight. Let's talk about mindset. How important is mindset to a business owner?
Oh, look, it's just as important as clarity. Even in our business, we consider clarity and mindset as the bookends, and then the technical stuff in the middle is the marketing or the sales and the finances and the systems and the team and things like that. If you haven't got the clarity or you haven't got the right mindset, it's very hard to make a success out of the technical stuff in the middle. But people start up businesses for reasons, or a multitude of reasons. You know, I ask people why they're in business. Oh, because I couldn't work for anyone else. Because my mum said I was useless and I was going to prove her wrong. All those sorts of reasons, and they're only that's only a mindset issue. Because if you haven't got the right mindset, you're not going to continually do what you need to do in business. If you're out to prove someone else wrong, you'll do just enough to prove someone else wrong. If you don't want to work for somebody else, you probably don't want to work for yourself, because it's a harder job working for yourself than what it is for somebody else. So if you haven't got the right mindset, it's going to be a hard slog. And that's what we come across on a very, very regular basis. People aren't successful in business because they're in it for the wrong reasons or have the wrong mindset about business.
Right, and is that something that you get into with them straight away? So Faye talks to them about the clarity. You've got your 6 coaches. Is mindset something that you get into straight away and start talking to them about and clarifying it?
Yeah, well, I probably start that before we even before they even become a client. I go and I have a 2-hour session with people just to check where they're at with their mindset and ask them several leading questions to get them to think and to get them to really understand that if they want to come and work with us, they will be working on their mindset, because we consider it as a crucial ingredient in being successful in business. So it is one of the things that we do start with, and it's just a continuation right throughout the whole time that people are with us.
So without giving away, all your trade secrets, how do you help business owners find their mindset? I imagine it's a bit of a confronting process sometimes.
It's about
some more details.
It's about asking questions and getting people to work on themselves. I always say that you got to work harder on yourself than what you do on your business, because a business is a reflection of your mindset, and it's about asking enough questions to find out why they went into business, or asking enough questions to find out what limiting beliefs they have about themselves. I suppose people say that I don't miss them. You've got to be hard and getting people to look at themselves, and that's one of the hardest things you can do. Ask yourself the question, because it's not a pretty picture sometimes. But if they're going to be successful, that's one of the most important things that you have to do. So it's about me asking them questions and listening to their answers, and then asking them more questions and getting them to think and getting them to recognise why they're doing things and their belief pattern and their values, and we go through a whole process. I say it's a journey, and I'll walk beside them all the way. But they've got to do the work. I can't do the work for them. Our clients have to look at themselves, have to work on themselves. I can't do that. All I can do is be a support and ask the questions.
The thing that I want to add to what Rob is saying is that I know very few people actually that can get people talking than Rob. Rob has the ability to see through people's BS. And and the number of times that people have said to me, even, I've told Rob stuff that I've never ever told anybody, even my husband or wife or whatever it is. He just has a knack to be able to get people to spill their guts, so to speak.
No, that's good. That's good. Well,
Yeah.
well, Rob, can you give us some examples? Again, no client names. We want to keep it all confidential, but any information or any examples that you can show the viewers. Yeah.
Probably one of them, I would say, probably my number one student was from a suburb that he considered was that no successful people come out of it. It was a suburb in Brisbane. I won't name the suburb because it's only a belief that that's what happens there. Mm-hmm. And he was brought up by his mother, and he was the oldest boy. And he was told that, you know, you never make anything yourself if you live in this area. You know, go to school and get an education, and you might make something of yourself. And he went into business because he thought that was the way he was going to make it. And he was struggling, and we worked with him for probably 3 or 4 years, and he's completely transformed himself. He's moved out of that suburb where he was living. He's living in what we would classify as one of the upper suburbs of Brisbane. He started to invest in real estate. He's got his business to the stage of where it's running almost without him, and he's starting to get bored. He's looking for other businesses to buy and build up and sell. So he's had a complete turnaround, and he puts it down to mindset. We've worked very hard on a lot of the beliefs that he had, and about his upbringing, and that he wasn't worth anything. Another one is he was in his 60s when he came and saw us, and his business had been up and down, and he didn't have anything except his business. And after a lot of digging, it turned out that when he was 14, his mother told him that he was useless and dumb, and just go and get a labourer's job, leave school now and just get a labourer's job. Your brother's going to be a doctor or something like that. His brother ended up a vet. And this bloke, he went out and laboured, and he got a bit of money, and he went and bought a business. And he worked and worked, and he got a bit of money, and he booked a holiday for him and his wife to go overseas. The first thing he did when he booked the holiday was go around and tell his mum that the business had bought a holiday. They went on holidays, come back, there was no business left. So then he worked and got some money and went and bought a Mercedes-Benz. First thing he did was go around and show his mum, hey, this is what the business did for me. I'm not so dumb after all. Yeah. And it was just a roller coaster like that. So it's just his mindset that he was in business for the wrong reasons, and he was never going to get where he could possibly get to until we worked on all that on those issues. And he's retired today, and he's got a pretty good living.
Excellent. Well, they were really good examples and really good information. Is there anything that we've missed that you might want to raise for the viewers or the listeners today?
Look, I guess there's just one point, and like we use the analogy of sport quite regularly in our business, and I guess the one thing that we'd like to just mention is that the elite sporting teams know that they're not going to get to the top of their game by doing it on their own. Mm. The elite sporting team know that they need a team of people around them to get there. And business is no different. The business world's been a lot slower on the uptake, can I say, in comparison to the sporting world. To get to the top of our game in whatever it is that we do in our business, we can't do it on our own. Rob and I have got 2 coaches, so we must be special. But we realise...
yeah, special.
we realise we can't do it on our own. We need a team of people around us, and that team includes accountants, bookkeepers, lawyers, commercial lawyers, debt collection, all the whole box and dice. We like to think that business coaches are right in the middle of that, and to be successful in business and to get the clarity to achieve what you want to achieve needs somebody, make us do things that we don't do ourselves, that we that also pushes us harder, helps us, makes us see things that we don't want to deal with, and all those types of things. Because if we want to be the best that we can be in our business and our business to be successful, we just won't do it. We can't do it on our own. It's not possible.
Yeah, I think that we just don't ask ourselves, and when we fool ourselves a lot. And it's about having someone that is willing to ask those hard questions. And as Faye said, we're no different. We have a coach, and they ask us the hard questions, put us on the spot, and that makes us think, and it makes sure that we're going in the right direction, and that we're making the best decisions and things like that. And we just don't do it. We take the easy road out if unless there's someone there poking us and prodding us.
Yeah, I think that's very true, and it's one of the reasons why we do what we do, is to help people to build successful businesses, and they often miss the fact that they need to get advice from their whole team. It's not just good enough just to have an accountant look at your books every now and then. You got to get proper advice on all the aspects of your business. So, thank you, Rob and Faye. I think that's been really good. Anything else, Craig?
No, I don't think so. Thanks again for joining us and giving that excellent information.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks very much.